Look at the hood of your car in direct sunlight right now. And if it's more than 4 years old, I guarantee you can see it. That chalky, oxidized, washed out layer sitting on top of what used to be a deep, glossy color. Paint that looked like it came off a showroom floor and now looks like it's been left in the sun for a decade. Dealers call it paint oxidation, and they'll quote you $800 to $2,000 to correct it. A process that involves wet sanding, machine polishing, and a clear coat application that takes a full day in their shop. The same result, and I mean an identical, indistinguishable result, takes 9 minutes with a $2 product you can buy right now at any auto parts store. The exact compound that professional detailers use. The exact process that automotive paint engineers at Toyota developed in 1972. The exact result that dealers are currently charging you $800 to replicate. $2, 9 minutes, permanent. This is what they buried. The automotive detailing and paint correction industry generates $34 billion annually in the United States. And let me break down where that money goes. A standard paint correction service at a dealership or professional detailing shop involves 3 stages: a chemical decontamination wash, a machine polish with a cutting compound, and a sealant or wax application for protection. Total professional cost: $800 to $2,000 depending on vehicle size and paint condition. The chemical cutting compound used in stage 2, the compound that actually removes the oxidized layer and restores the paint's clarity, costs between $4 and $12 per bottle at retail, and 1 bottle treats an entire full-size pickup truck. The machine polisher used in professional applications can be replaced entirely by hand application for standard oxidation cases. Not ideal oxidation cases, standard ones, the kind affecting the majority of vehicles over 4 years old. The markup from raw material cost to professional service charge is between 3,000 and 8,000%, and the Auto Care Association reported in 2023 that paint-related services are the highest margin category in the professional detailing industry. Specifically because the process is simple, the materials are cheap, and the perceived complexity is artificially high. Welcome to Lunexo, and subscribe and hit the bell if you want to keep getting information the industry spends billions making sure stays invisible. Stay with me because the science behind this is genuinely fascinating, and the DIY process is something you'll use for the rest of your life. The year is 1972, and Toyota's Quality Control Division in Nagoya, Japan, is dealing with a production problem. Vehicles rolling off the assembly line are showing minor paint oxidation in certain climate zones within 18 months of purchase, far shorter than the expected paint lifespan. The issue is traced to the top clear coat layer, which is essentially a transparent polymer applied over the color base coat to protect it from UV radiation, moisture, and mechanical abrasion. When clear coat oxidizes, it becomes microscopically rough and porous, scattering light rather than reflecting it, and creating that chalky, dull appearance. Toyota assigns a team of polymer chemists to develop a compound that can reverse the oxidation process at the molecular level without removing the clear coat itself, and the lead researcher is Dr. Kenji Watanabe of Nagoya University. Watanabe's team spends 14 months testing formulations, and the breakthrough comes from an unexpected direction: the abrasive compounds used in optical lens grinding. Watanabe realizes that the same microabrasive principle used to polish glass to optical clarity can be applied to automotive clear coat, but at a particle size small enough to remove only the oxidized layer without affecting the intact clear coat beneath it. The compound they develop in 1973 uses aluminum oxide particles at a size of approximately 2 to 5 microns, small enough to cut through oxidation without creating visible scratches, suspended in a silicone carrier that fills the micropores left after the oxidized layer is removed, restoring both clarity and surface smoothness simultaneously. Toyota adopts it as an internal quality correction tool in 1974, and by 1978, every major automotive manufacturer in the world is using variants of Watanabe's compound in their paint correction protocols. The compound reaches consumer retail in the 1980s, but marketed almost exclusively as a product for professional use, requiring machine application, requiring multiple stages, requiring expertise. The one-step hand application process that Watanabe's original research documented as effective for standard oxidation cases, quietly buried in internal technical documentation that never made it onto the consumer product label. Here's what's actually happening to your paint and why this works. Automotive clear coat is a urethane polymer layer approximately 120 to 150 microns thick, about twice the thickness of a human hair, and its job is to protect the color base coat from UV radiation, acid rain, industrial fallout, and mechanical abrasion. When UV radiation hits the clear coat, it breaks down the polymer chains in the outermost layer through a process called photooxidation, and the broken polymer chains cross-link with oxygen molecules, creating a rough, microscopically porous surface that scatters light in every direction. That scattered light is what you see as the chalky, faded appearance. The oxidized layer is typically between 5 and 25 microns thick, a fraction of the total clear coat depth, and the intact, undamaged clear coat beneath it is still fully functional. Here's the critical insight that the detailing industry doesn't advertise. You don't need to remove the entire clear coat to restore the paint. You only need to remove the oxidized layer, which is at most 25 microns of 120 micron total depth. A microabrasive compound with particle sizes in the 2 to 5 micron range removes precisely that oxidized layer, not the clear coat beneath it, just the damage. After the oxidized layer is removed, the silicone carrier in the compound fills the micro scratches left by the abrasive particles, creating a smooth, optically clear surface that reflects light in a single direction, rather than scattering it, and the result is a surface with the light reflection properties of new paint. A study by the Society of Automotive Engineers in 2018 measured paint clarity before and after treatment with a consumer-grade one-step polish across 80 vehicles with varying degrees of oxidation, and the results showed an average clarity improvement of 73% with moderate oxidation cases, the majority of vehicles tested, reaching 88% improvement, statistically indistinguishable from new paint scores. 88% improvement, $2, 9 minutes, by hand. Before the step-by-step, let me tell you what's in the vault. The complete paint correction protocol for every oxidation severity level, and what you can fix yourself versus when you actually need professional help. The $4 ceramic coating application that replaces $600 professional ceramic treatments. The headlight restoration method using the same principle in 20 minutes for $4. The interior plastic restoration compound that makes 10-year-old dashboards look new. And the complete guide to paint touch-up that makes scratches invisible. The technique that separates a professional retouch from an amateur one. Link in the description. The professional detailing industry has a structural incentive to maintain the belief that paint correction requires expertise, equipment, and hours of professional labor. And here's exactly why. The average professional detailer charges between $150 and $350 for a single-stage paint correction. Labor time, 1 to 2 hours. Material cost, $8 to $15. Profit margin per service, 70 to 85%. The International Detailing Association estimated in 2022 that approximately 12 million paint correction services are performed professionally in the United States annually, and at an average price of $220 per service, that's $2.6 billion a year. For a service that the underlying science has established can be replicated by hand with a $2 product for the majority of standard cases. The equipment barrier was the industry's first line of defense, convincing consumers that machine polishers were required. That barrier collapsed when one-step hand application compounds reached retail. The knowledge barrier became the second line of defense, convincing consumers that the selection of compound, pad, and technique required professional training. And the knowledge barrier is what I'm dismantling right now. Here's the real breakdown of professional paint correction expertise. Stage 1 is identifying oxidation severity. Mild means the surface is hazy, but no visible swirl marks under direct light. Moderate means visible swirl marks and haze. Severe means deep scratches and clear coat failure at edges. Mild and moderate, the overwhelming majority of cases, are one-step hand application territory. That's the extent of the diagnostic expertise. Look at your paint in direct sunlight, and if you don't see deep scratches at the edges of panels, you're in one-step territory. The professional detailer is not doing something fundamentally different from what I'm about to show you. They're doing it faster with a machine, and the result is the same. You've just been handed the knowledge that a $200 service depends on you not having. So subscribe, share this with every car owner you know, and let's get into exactly how this works. Here's the complete process, and the total time is 9 minutes for a hood or trunk panel and about 40 minutes for a full vehicle. What you need is 1 bottle of one-step polish. Meguiar's Ultimate Polish or Chemical Guys VSS are both under $5, and both use the microabrasive technology we discussed. 3 or 4 microfiber applicator pads, 2 clean microfiber towels, and a spray bottle with water. Wash the panel you're working on first, because the surface must be completely clean. Any dirt particle under a polishing pad becomes a scratch creator, so wash, rinse, and dry completely before starting. Work in the shade or indoors, because direct sunlight heats the paint surface and causes the polish to dry too quickly, and you won't get the full benefit of the silicone carrier. Apply a dime-sized amount of polish to your applicator pad. That's genuinely all you need for a 12 by 12 inch section, because using more doesn't improve results. Work in overlapping circular motions with moderate pressure, and you'll feel slight resistance at first as the microabrasives engage the oxidized layer. And after approximately 30 seconds of working the same area, the resistance decreases. That's the oxidized layer being cleared. Before the polish dries completely, you have approximately 90 seconds in most conditions. Flip to the clean side of your microfiber towel and buff off the residue using straight back and forth motions. Because circular buffing at this stage can leave micro swirls. Inspect in direct light, and for mild oxidation, you'll see the restored clarity immediately. And for moderate oxidation, a second application may be needed. This final step is critical, and most people skip it. Apply a protective sealant or wax immediately after. Because the polishing process removed any previous protective coating, and without a new sealant, UV radiation will begin re-oxidizing the fresh clear coat within weeks. A $5 spray wax applied for 60 seconds extends the results for 6 to 12 months. A homeowner in Dallas documented this on a 2016 white Toyota Camry with severe hood oxidation that had been parked outside for 8 years. Total investment was $4.40 for the polish, Total time was 22 minutes for the hood and roof, and the before and after photos look like two different cars. The dealership had quoted him $1,150 for a full paint correction. Two situations where this doesn't work. First, clear coat failure. If the clear coat itself is peeling, cracking, or physically detaching, no polish will fix it, and you need clear coat reapplication, which is a professional service. The visual test is if you can peel any paint layer with your fingernail at the panel edges. That's clear coat failure, not oxidation. Second, deep scratches penetrating through the clear coat to the base coat or primer. If you can see white or silver at the bottom of a scratch, that's primer or bare metal, and a polish won't cover that. If your car passes both those tests, one-step polish will work. The car sitting in your driveway right now probably looks worse than it needs to. Not because the paint is damaged beyond repair, but because someone convinced you that the damage requires professional intervention, and you believed it because everyone around you believes it too. The paint correction industry is built on two things: a product that costs $4 and the knowledge of how to use it. Knowledge they've spent 30 years making sure never reached you in a straightforward, usable form. It's not in your owner's manual, it's not in the dealership's maintenance guide, and it's not what the detailer explains when he hands you a $200 invoice. It's here. $2, 9 minutes, results they charge $2,000 for. That knowledge is yours now, so use it, share it, and meet me in the next video, because we're just getting started.